Start talking.
Ready to roll, Paul?
Yeah,
We all set?
yeah. Talk away.
Which one app will I use first?
Right.
You're cancelling that out, haven't you?
Yeah.
That was a test.
You want to How do I do that music now? How do I kill and how do I do that music? Right, welcome to the draw for the 2016 USGAA finals. Myself, Paul Keane, here with Malachy Higgins, the Central Council delegate for the North American Board, Doc O'Keefe, the PRO, and Bill Flanagan, the former president of the North American Board. We have shared the Google Docs that we're going to be updating. As mentioned in the email, a number of decisions were made by the CCC in putting this together, so some of the entries in some of the competitions are already populated out. The feedback we had received and incorporated included feedback from the Hurling Development Committee, from other county boards where teams come in by invitation, and from the CCC itself. So we'll work through this. The format is straightforward enough. On the left-hand side of the Google Doc is the teams that are entered in that competition. The ball number is the number of the ping pong ball that's going to represent that team or division. In the actual bracket itself, you will see first, second, third, fourth. That means that the first ball out, be it 1, 2, 3, or 4, will be in that slot on the bracket. There are some brackets that get a little bit more complicated as we move down the grades, so we may elaborate a bit further on that. Also, if there's any North American Board officers on, we have opened the conference call line for the North American Board officers. Check your email. It went out earlier this morning with the dial-in details. So with that, we're going to move ahead. First competition, if you're looking at Google Docs, you'll see the tabs on the bottom, and you can move across the tabs as we go competition to competition. So for the first competition is men's senior football. Vancouver already placed in a quarter-final. We have 4 teams from Northeast Philadelphia, Central Division, Northeast Philadelphia, and Western. They're 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first ball out will be in the quarter-final against Vancouver. The second ball out will be in the semi-final that plays the winners of the quarter-final. Third and fourth ball will be in the semi-final, the lower half of the bracket. So Malachy, go ahead there.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Philadelphia, so Philadelphia will play Vancouver in the quarter-final. Next ball.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Central. Next ball. Just take them out and make sure they're 3 and 4 anyway. Just in case.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Western.
Number 2.
And number 2 is Northeast. Okay, so Vancouver will play Philadelphia in the quarterfinals. The winners will play Central Division. Western and Northeast play in the other semi-final. The next competition is men's intermediate football. This has been predetermined based on conversations with the Canadian County Board and with our own CCC. The semi-finals are going to be Western versus Vancouver and Calgary versus Fraser Valley Gales. Now we move on to Junior A football. We need 5 balls in the pot, Malachy. So the first ball out will play Calgary in a quarter-final.
Number 1.
Number 1, which is Central.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Austin. So that's the second ball. So they will play in the quarter-final.
Number 3.
Southeast will play in the quarter-final against Austin.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Western. They will go into the top half against the winners of Calgary versus Central.
Number 2 is the last.
Which is Northeast, who will play the winners of Austin and Southeast. So just 1 second.
Hold
on a second. Hold on a second. I need to do a bit of housekeeping here. I'm after falling behind. You're going too fast for me. Just Western. Okay, so now we're moving on to Junior B football. We have 9 teams in this, and the CCC have determined that either Baltimore or DC Gales will play either Dallas or San Diego in a preliminary round, and the other Mid-Atlantic team will play the other Southwest team in a quarter-final. So we need to put ball 1 and 2 in the second hat, and ball 3 and 4 in the other hat. Right. So pick out of the hat with 1 and 2, which is Baltimore and DC Gales. Pick one of them.
Number 2.
DC Gales. And now pick one out of the Dallas or San Diego hat.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Dallas. So Dallas will play DC Gales in a preliminary round, and just confirm that that the other two teams, number 1, which is Baltimore. It should be number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah.
All win together. No.
Leave them to one side now, Malachy. Now the other 5 teams that are in the main pot are the Midwest, Northeast, Philadelphia, Southeast, and Western. And it'll be an open draw for the 5 of them to fill the 5 spots in the quarter final. So pull away from the 5 balls, Malachy.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Western, so they will be in the quarter final playing the winner of DC Gales and Dallas.
Number 8.
Number 8 is the Southeast. Next one.
Number 6.
Number 6 is the Northeast. They will play the Southeast.
Again. Number 5.
Number 5 is the Midwest.
The last one. Number 7.
Number 7 is Philadelphia. So Philadelphia will play the Midwest, and the Southeast will play the Northeast in the 2 quarterfinals in the bottom half of the draw. Western will play the winners of DC Gales and Dallas, and then Baltimore and San Diego make up the last quarterfinal. So Junior C football. Yeah, so we need to put. So we have 13 teams in this competition. We're going to put the 4 Southwest teams into one hat. So there's 5 through 8.
5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8.
So in hat 1 we should have the 4 Southwest teams. In hat 2 we should have the 2 Central teams and the 2 Northwest teams. That's 1 through 4.
1 through 4.
Mali Plough 1 through 4. And then remaining in the main draw should be 9, 10, 11. Midwest, Philadelphia, and Western. 9, 10, 11 should remain.
And all flying away. Okay.
9, 10, 11. Right. So the way this has worked, based on the feedback from the divisional chairman, that the teams from the same division entering the same competition should be in the preliminary round. We are alternating and modifying that a slight bit. They will be kept in the winners of these preliminary games will be in the same half of the draw. So we take a team from the Southwest hat and a team from the Central/Northwest hat. All right, Malachy. One from each.
8.
8 is Satanta San Diego.
2.
Indianapolis. Right, one more from each.
7.
7 is San Antonio.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Madison. Again, one from each, Maliki.
Number 6.
Number 6 is LA Wild Geese.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Portland. And
Number 5.
number 5 is Denver Gales.
Number 4.
And number 4 is Seattle Gales. So that's the top half of the draw. The winners of those 4 preliminary rounds will go into the quarterfinals against each other. Denver and Seattle. In the bottom half of the draw for Junior C football, Southeast will play Cayman Islands in one preliminary round, and then we draw 3 teams. The remaining teams then are Midwest, Philadelphia, and Western. So we draw from the main pot one at a time. The first team out will be playing against the winners of Southeast versus Cayman Islands. So pull away there.
Bill wants
Pull.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Philadelphia.
Midwest.
Sorry, Midwest. That's why we have Ernest and Young here keeping an eye on us. Right, again, Bill.
Number 11.
Philadelphia.
Western.
11. I'm off track altogether here.
But the last ball is
Yeah.
last ball is number 10.
Can I say it this time, Doc? Philadelphia. So that's the Junior C football draw, and I'll go through it again. In the preliminary round, Satanta San Diego will play Indianapolis, San Antonio will play Madison, and the winners of those 2 games will play in quarterfinal 1. LA Wild Geese will play Portland, Denver will play Seattle, and the winner of those games will play in quarterfinal 2. Southeast will play Cayman Islands in a preliminary round. The winners will play Midwest, and then in the last quarterfinal, Western will play Philadelphia. Junior D football. So again, we have 4 teams here: Kansas, Twin Cities, Seattle Gales, and Tacoma Rangers. And based on the feedback from the chairmans, the recommendations of the divisional chairpersons, we have to keep divisions multiple teams from the same divisions in the same half of the draw. Therefore, this is pretty much predetermined, with Kansas playing Twin Cities and Seattle Gales playing Tacoma Rangers. So that concludes all of the football competitions. I think we've managed to get them all right. Now we move on to hurling. Senior hurling, 4 teams have entered: Central, Northeast, Western, Vancouver. So pull out 1, 2, 3, and 4 balls.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Vancouver.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Western.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Central.
Number 2.
And number 2 is Northeast. So the Senior Hurling Championship will be semi-finals: Vancouver versus Western Division, Central Division versus Northeast Division. Intermediate hurling, there are 2 entries in intermediate hurling, Calgary and Toronto. The format is still to be finalised, but as such we don't need to actually do a draw for any order or anything because there are only the two teams. Next is junior hurling, junior A hurling. There are 5 teams: Indianapolis, Michael Cusick's, DC Gales, Northeast, and Vancouver. So Vancouver and Northeast will play in a quarter-final. And again, as I mentioned earlier, a number of these decisions predetermined in the hurling competitions were a result of conversations with the Hurling Development Committee. So Vancouver and Northeast will play in a quarter-final. We will draw then the other 3 balls, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So pull, first ball out, we'll play the winners. Go ahead.
Number 3.
So number 3 is DC Gales. They will play the winners of Vancouver and Northeast. Am I on track, Doc?
Yeah. Flying.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Indianapolis.
Number 2.
And number 2 is Michael Cusick's. So that's Junior A hurling. Vancouver will play Northeast in a quarter-final. The winners will play DC Gales in a semi-final. And the other semi-final will be Indianapolis versus Michael Cusick's. Junior B hurling, there are 7 entries. The Hurling Development Committee recommended the format and it was ratified by the North American Board. The Western Division have received the bye into the semi-final, and the other 6 teams then will be drawn for quarter-final places.
Number 5.
Number 5 is St. Peter's San Diego.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Milwaukee.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Madison.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Vancouver.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Baltimore.
Number 3.
And number 3 is Twin Cities. So the draw will be St. Peter's San Diego will play Milwaukee and Madison will play Vancouver. In the top half of the draw, the winners of those games will play each other in a semi-final. Baltimore will play Twin Cities in a quarter-final and the winners will play Western in a semi-final.
What's the highest number for 15? 16.
Yeah, I think 13 is the most we need at any point though. I went a bit mad. So next up is Junior C hurling. So Junior C hurling has 4 teams from the Northwest Division, 3 teams from the Central Division, and 2 teams from the Southwest Division. So the Northwest Division will go into one hat, teams 1 to 4. The Central Division and the Southwest Division, teams 5 through 9, will go into the second hat. And then teams 10, 11 and 12 will be in the main pot.
1 to 4. 1 to 4 and 1/2, 5 to 9.
5 to 9 and then 3, the 3 remaining.
6. 15.
One to 4, right? You're missing 4.
4 and 1.
Okay. 5 to 9.
It's 9, 8, 9,
6.
6.
Right? Yeah. And then you're going to
11, 12.
But the 3, so 10, 11 and 12 should be in the main, yeah. Okay, so we're going to draw one from each. Yeah, uh, from the northwest hat, 1 through 4 will play somebody from the other hat, the second hat, which is 5 through 9, and the extra team in that second hat will play the southeast end. So we'll start again, Malachy or Bill, if you want to go ahead and start taking.
We'll go 1 to 4.
Yeah, so take one from there.
Number 1.
Number 1, Columbia Red Branch, and take one from the second hat.
8.
8 is Denver. Columbia Red Branch will play Denver.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Tacoma Rangers.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Indianapolis.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Thomas Maher.
Number 7.
Twin Cities.
Number 1 left here.
Yeah.
2.
Number 2 is Seattle Gales.
Home team. Number 9.
Number 9 is Flagstaff Mountain Hounds.
The one that's left in the hat.
One second out. So what's left in the hat is number 6 is St. Louis. So St. Louis will play southeast. Now we have 3 teams in the main pot. Midwest, Northeast, and Philadelphia.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Midwest.
Number 12.
Number 12 is Philadelphia.
Number 11.
Number 11 is Northeast. Okay, so the draw for Junior C hurling. In the top half of the draw, Northwest, Columbia Red Branch will play Denver. Tacoma Rangers will play Indianapolis in preliminary rounds. The winners will play in quarterfinal 1. Thomas Maher will play Twin Cities. Seattle Gales will play Flagstaff Mountain Hounds. The winners of those 2 games will play in quarterfinal 2. Southeast will play St. Louis in a preliminary round. The winners will play Midwest in a quarterfinal. And then Philadelphia will play Northeast in a quarterfinal. And that's Junior C hurling. And that brings us to the end of all the hurling competitions. So we're now moving on to ladies football.
Five teams in ladies football.
Sorry, yeah. I'm getting through nose here.
That's okay.
Yeah, so we have 5 teams in ladies football. Central Division, Northeast Division, Western Division, Charlotte, and Vancouver. It's been predetermined that Vancouver will play Charlotte in a quarterfinal, and then we will draw the other 3 teams 1 through 3 for the remaining spots in the semi-final. So, I'm not losing my place here now. Hang on a second.
Number 1.
Hang on a second. Number 1 is Central. Next ball, Bill.
Number 1 is open up.
Yeah, Central Division.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Western.
And number 2.
And number 2 is Northeast. So the draw for the ladies senior football championship. Vancouver will play Charlotte in the quarterfinal. The winners will play Central. And Western will play Northeast in the other semi-final. And that's the senior ladies football. So next is there is no intermediate ladies competition. Next is ladies junior A, and again we have 5 teams. Central Division, Western Division, Nafina, San Diego, Vancouver, and Calgary. And again, Vancouver and Calgary, on recommendation of the CCC, have been placed in the quarter-final. So we will draw the remaining 3 teams then for places in the semi-final, 1 through 3.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Nafina San Diego.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Central.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Western. Okay, Nafina San Diego. So the draw for the ladies junior A football has Vancouver playing Calgary in a quarter final, and the winners playing Nafina, and Central playing Western in the other semi final. So now we have ladies junior B football. We have 8 teams in this. Again, on the recommendation of the divisional chairpersons, there's multiple teams in from the Southwest Division, so they will be kept in the same segment of the draw. So we will have a hat with balls 1 to 3, and draw from them first, and then we will draw the other 5 balls. So proceed, gentlemen.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Denver Gales.
Number 5.
No, lads, you got from the wrong hat. Go back. The hat with 1, 2, and 3. Pull the 3 of them first.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Austin Celtic Cowboys. And then from the last ball from that hat.
Number 3.
And number 3 is Fionn McCool's Dallas. And now we take the other 5 then from the main draw.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Western.
Number 4.
Number 4 is DC Gales.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Pittsburgh are going to play Philadelphia in a qualifying competition, and number 8 is the winner of that game. So that is Pittsburgh / Philadelphia. All right, next.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Cayman Islands. Number 5, Seattle Gales. Ah, 1 second, lads. 1 second, lads. Cayman Islands. And what was the last one out? Was Seattle.
Quarterfinal 1, Denver, Austin.
Yeah.
Quarterfinal 2, Dallas.
Yeah, so quarterfinal 1 is going to be Denver Gales versus Austin Celtic Cowboys. Quarterfinal 2 is Fionn McCool's Dallas versus Western. Quarterfinal 3 is DC Gales versus Pittsburgh / Philadelphia. And quarterfinal 4 is Cayman Islands versus Seattle Gales. So now finishes the ladies football section of the draw, and we're going to move on to senior camogie. So senior camogie, there are 3 entries. Liberty Gales, Hoboken, and Toronto and Vancouver, both from Canada. This is going to be a round robin competition, but some of the details need to be fleshed out. We're going to draw the teams and give them a designation of A, B, C, and if possible we will play, depending on how the schedule works out. Well, it's not a commitment, but it's a proposal that A would play B in the first game, B would play C in the second game, and C would play A in the third game. That will not be confirmed until we see the schedule, but we are going to designate the teams with a letter, so if we can do that, we know where we stand. So draw 3, 1 to 3. Three. So Vancouver will be Team A. 1 is Liberty Gales, who will be Team B.
Number 2 is that.
And number 2 is Toronto, who will be Team C. So as I said, this is not confirmed as of yet, but the order of the games. But we will be Vancouver will be Team A, Liberty Gales will be Team B, and Toronto will be Team C. Next is Intermediate Camogie. We have 4 entries in this: Kansas City, Twin Cities, Seattle Gales, and Tacoma Rangers. And again, as mentioned earlier, based on the feedback from the divisional chairpersons' calls, we have to keep the teams from the same divisions in the same half of the draw. Therefore, this is pretty much predetermined. It will be Kansas versus Twin Cities in semi-final 1, and Seattle Gales versus Tacoma Rangers in semi-final 2. And the final competition is Junior Camogie. And in this competition, we have 5 entries: St. Louis, DC Gales, Seattle Gales, Liberty Gales, and Milwaukee. And again, on the feedback we received and the recommendations we received, Liberty Gales will play Milwaukee in the quarterfinal, and then we will draw the other 3 teams for semi-final spots. So 1 to 3.
Number 2.
So number 2 is DC Gales.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Seattle Gales.
Number 1.
And number 1 is St. Louis. So that concludes the business end. I'd like to thank Doc, Malachy and Bill for their help in this. And we will be getting this out to you as soon as possible in official format. And we look forward to welcoming everyone to Seattle, and I'm sure the people in the Northwest are very excited, because this really is the start of the wind of the clock for moving towards the wind down, or the countdown to the playoffs in Seattle on Labour Weekend in September. So thank you very much, everyone, and look forward to a very good summer of football, hurling, camogie.
Good job.
Stop, huh?